104.5 The Team, your home for New York Yankees baseball. Thursday means Buster Olney time. Buster, it's been a little while since you and I have spoke. The last time we talked, I had already stuck a fork in the Yankees and the Mets postseason hopes. So now I'm gonna pull the fork out. I'm gonna hand it to you. Yanks, Mets, both or neither make the playoffs.
Neither make the playoffs.
Here's the fork.
But that doesn't mean. But I'd say this: I don't think that means that this year would necessarily be a failure. If you look at where the Mets are after so many injuries and so many problems, and now you pile Neil Walker's situation on top of it, I think it's amazing that they're even this close, that they're even in the conversation. And with the Yankee situation, I mean, shoot, you watch them now, they're like the happiest guys on earth. That whole week that Alex Rodriguez was being released, and he and Joe Girardi seemed to be on different pages, and Girardi looked even extra tense. Now he's like the happiest guy in the world when you watch these games play. You got Dellin Betances coming out of the dugout all fired up after one of his teammates gets a save. They are just loose and no pressure on them. They're like the $220 million little engine that could, because no one expects them to make the postseason after trading their three best players.
Buster Olney with us. So, Buster, how does that work? Like, I don't think I've ever seen a team have a complete fire sale the way the Yankees did and get better.
No. I did SportsCenter today, and they were asking, is there some remorse on the Yankees' part? And I tell you this, I picked up none. They're totally happy with the way this is played out. I think this is a best-case scenario for the Yankees where they make those trades of older players, and then they get back the prospects that they wanted, that they targeted to make their farm system better. And then here comes Gary Sanchez, who becomes 2016 version of Babe Ruth, and then managed to stay in contention, and they're set themselves up well for 2017. And if you're the Yankees, you're trying to sell tickets, what you're seeing here right now is absolutely perfect to demonstrate to fans why you went through the fire sale.
Well, Buster, last week, Wolf and I talked to you about Babe Ruth / Gary Sanchez, and Levack was not here, so I'll ask you this. How excited should Levack be?
Really excited!
About Gary Sanchez?
See, we know this because Levack probably just had his fantasy football draft, and he took Gary Sanchez in that draft.
He's got a good arm. I think he can make a lot of completions downfield.
Right, exactly. You're hoping he becomes like the Tebow, and he's going to play multiple sports. Look, he's tremendous. And I asked a Yankees official the other day about how good he's been, and the person laughed and said, "Yeah, we predicted he was going to hit a home run every other game, but they're really impressed with how he's made adjustments, pitch to pitch, at bat to at bat, and they." I had some examples cited to me of, him seeing it change up early in the game and then later in the game taking advantage of it. It looks like that he could be a lineup anchor, and next on their list they have to figure out who's going to be, a guy at the front end of their rotation along with Masahiro Tanaka.
So, Buster, I've watched the way he plays, and obviously that's fun, but his demeanor has kind of caught me. He's got that calm, cool, nothing's too big for him. I'm ready. Rein me in. Are we looking at captain potential moving forward?
Oh, man, are you way out ahead. Well, look, I mean, the one thing is, and I think we'd say the same thing about Mookie Betts with the Red Sox and how he carries himself. It seems like Sanchez absolutely has that sort of presence about him where you could see him being a leader on this team. And he certainly has been a leader that they are trying to make the postseason and trying to be relevant still in 2016. But let's just hold on.
Buster Olney joins us right now. It is 104.5 The Team. Fine, I'll hold on a little bit, but
he doesn't want to.
but Buster, on top of that, we had Leyritz on. We had Jim Leyritz on earlier this week, and he's making comparisons to the 92-93 Yankees, where he said he was a member of the quote young guns that were coming up, and that he sees young guns coming up now, and if the right free agents are added, we could be looking at maybe not the full-blown dynasty, but a team that'll be making runs like that 96-plus team did.
Oh, I think they definitely have an opportunity. Now, again, I think that we still have to wait and see how they, fill in what is an enormous gap in their starting pitching because, Luis Severino, it's not been a good year for his development. We don't really know exactly what he's going to be going forward. The free agent class this fall and next fall is really thin. the fall of 2018 is the first time you're going to see frontline starting pitching, but the Yankees aren't going to wait that long. They're going to be trying to do some other things, whether it's, package some prospects for somebody like a Chris Sale, but they need that. And when you go back and look at those Yankee teams, the dynasty, you had Andy Pettit and you had Mariano Rivera developing into a great weapon out of the bullpen at the end of 95 and 96. And they went out and spent money on free agents. They traded for David Cohn, added Jimmy Key. They still have to figure out, who are going to anchor the rotation.
Buster, even though the New York Mets are winning, was the Jay Bruce trade a mistake?
I think that it was, certainly potentially a trade that I talked about Mets people this at the time, that it wasn't, he was not a perfect fit because he was a left-handed hitter for a lineup that was very heavily left-handed at the time. They also were at that time were in need of a center fielder, and he's a right fielder. And their hope was when they made that trade was that he could make up for some of that and not being a perfect fit by hitting a lot of home runs. And it hasn't. And I will tell you, and I've known Jay for a long time, and Jay's a great guy. But I think my concern was at the time they added him is that Jay is someone who will put pressure on himself. And they're great players who do that, and it can really wear on them. I think David Price of the Red Sox is doing that this year. I think Jay has tried to live up to the billing, and I worried about the transition for him. And I think if you're the Mets now, what you got to hope for is that he relaxes, not only for your pennant hopes this year, but to give you a better look as you decide whether or not to pick up that option for 2017.
Buster, the Mets may be adding a bat, or maybe it's the Red Sox, maybe it's the White Sox. Who in the world claimed Yasiel Puig? What's going on with the story?
I don't know who did. I thought when he was placed on waivers that absolutely he was going to be someone who was going to be claimed because he's only 25. He's ridiculously talented in terms of how fast he runs and how much he hits the ball. And put it this way, he's like Tim Tebow, except he's actually played baseball, right? And so you knew someone would take a shot at him. I don't know which team it was. My guess is that it was the San Diego Padres, who are in position to have one of the first claims on him because the Padres are awful, and they're trying to accumulate talent, and why not place a claim on him, see if you can work something out. But from what I understand from talking with Dodger people, they all along have intended to take him into the wintertime to at least see if they could get, more offers, greater offers than just dealing with one team.
Buster Olney with us right here on 104.5 The Team. Buster, I didn't know it was a secret ballot thing for the waivers. I didn't know they could keep that quiet.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. Only people in Central Baseball and the team that places the player on the waiver list and the team that makes the claim know exactly who does this. And it absolutely is some information that teams, work to keep locked down. And you can definitely call up some people around baseball and say, hey, have you looked at your waiver list today? And you could glean some information that way. But generally speaking, they try to keep it top secret.
Buster Olney, 104.5 The Team. So, Buster, the report is the Red Sox are going to call up Yoan Moncada. How nervous should this make Yankee fans?
For 2016, I don't think nervous at all. In fact, I'm surprised that they promoted him with the idea that they're going to try him at third base because, let's face it, where the Red Sox are now, they're essentially saying, look, we're looking for an offensive upgrade at third base. We don't think Aaron Hill, we don't think Travis Shaw are good enough. Let's try to get better there. When you watch the Red Sox play, offense is not their problem. They got Mookie Betts as an MVP candidate. They have David Ortiz. They got Pedroia. They got Bogarts. Hanley Ramirez has had a solid year. Their problem is in their bullpen. But they're calling him Moncada, who has not played above Double-A. From what I understand, he's hitting under 200 against lefties playing in Double-A, and he hasn't played that much third base. And if I'm the Red Sox, then I think I would lean toward the idea of, we just want to make sure our third baseman, whoever that is, catches the ball. And instead, it seems like they're going to try Moncada at third base and potentially open themselves up to situations where he makes some mistakes because he's not that familiar with that position. And I just, given their current issues with their bullpen, I think they'd be smarter off going the more conservative route and playing the veterans at third.
If that's the case and he goes to the third, what's the future of Kung Fu Panda, Pablo Sandoval? Is he out of a Red Sox uniform by next year?
Well, we'll see. I'm sure you guys saw the pictures of him when he was around the Red Sox when they were down in Florida to play the Rays. He looks a lot better. Okay. And David Ortiz told me early in the year after Sandoval was placed on the disabled list and they knew he was going to be out for the year that he thought that Sandoval was getting more serious about his condition, physical condition. He's owed, guys, something in the range of $60 million moving forward. Ortiz is retiring after this year. We know that. My guess is that the Red Sox bring him into spring training, hope that he continues to get in better shape, hope that he's healthy, and give him a shot to be a DH.
Buster Olney, right here. We're talking baseball, but Buster, I just want to let you know you're among friends here at 104.5 The Team. You brought up fantasy drafts. Are you okay with Teddy Bridgewater going down for the year? You Minnesota Viking fan?
Absolutely crushed. I've never seen the Vikings win a Super Bowl. No one has because they've never won it. Despite 4 tries, every year you get your guts ripped out. But at least this year they did it in August, right? Where we feel like it's pretty much over at this point. I mean, the way the NFL is, and they're start talking about Mark Sanchez stepping in, I'm already getting ready for pitchers and catchers report next spring.
Well, you still got AP, you still got a really good defense, and Sean Hill's
got a great coach, got great people. But let's face it, this is one of those moments when I demonstrate why I'm a writer and not an athlete. Okay, I've already quit on the season.
But see, it's nice to hear your fan come out. You know what I mean? Because you hear me quit on the Yankees 20 times a year.
Well, it's fun. I've been able to maintain my fandom with the Vikings and with my alma mater, and it's always fun to do that.
Well, Buster, we're fans of yours. Thanks so much for making time for us, and we'll talk to you next week as the races continue to heat up.
Yeah, good luck with the Yankees.